Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for round number 2 of the ISR AIC Season 4. We're here in Sepang International Circuit, this 5.5 kilometer circuit in the heart of Malaysia, with that lap record set by Sebastian Vettel of a 1 minute 34.0. Will our drivers be able to better that today? We'll find out. They will have DRS, of course, to help them in beating that lap record. This track being a favourite on the Formula 1 calendar gives these guys a bit of DRS going into turn 1 to try and make them. They'll have 3 laps with battling without DRS, but after then it's all guns blazing. It's looking like a one-stop strategy today. We saw Adelaide was a similar story. This track even more so of a tyre wear circuit and more harder compound tyres available this weekend, so these guys are definitely going to be aiming for that one stop. I don't think we'll see any zero stoppers, but you never know. We've seen crazier things in the AIC. Joining me once again is Zack Swader for this Malaysian Grand Prix. And Zack, we saw what happened in Adelaide. It was a thing of fairy tales for Kevin Jacobs lining up on pole and taking the win. And Damien Haskins, similar story in terms of that fairy tale. He'll be hoping he can take the win today.
Yeah, as he starts on pole, as we take a look through the field, Damien Haskins got that 125 set in qualifying, and Nut Martinson, so he's going to have some competition behind him. But Joshua Wood comes out of nowhere, finally hoping to get back on his feet after a couple of tough seasons. And rookie Juan Navarro in 4th for Team EQU with Colin McAllister and Gareth Lennon in the 2 Iron Brew cars right behind him. And Christopher Pedersen and Zack Swader come out 7th and 8th. And then Charles McBee and Colm Spencer. Not a very interesting qualifying for Colm Spencer, as he's really looking to try to take something away as he looks to return to his glory, as well as Jonathan Carrero and Kevin Jacobs all in your top 12, and then Emmett Ray in 13th.
Josh Mine lines up 14th, ahead of his compatriot Craig McLeod Evans. Chester Jackson takes P16 for EQU. Danny Diaz, another poor performing result for the Mexican, Toby Burn lines up in 18th, James Underhill 19th, and it's Ross McFarlane in the other V-Race. V-Race are really struggling to get to grips at the start of the season, in the qualifying sessions at least. Josh Mine was able to climb into the points last time. He'll be looking for a little bit more this time out, as we'll see the final rows of the grid come up in just a few seconds. That is Valerio Campagnari, 1.6 off the pace, not great for the NORL boy, and of course Douglas Anderson serving that qualifying ban for that collision with Joshua Wood, this time out in Adelaide, and hit him right at the back. The Stews deemed that his fault, but no dilly-dallying here in Malaysia. It's time for 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go. Who gets the better start of the 3? It looks like Josh Wood has got a very good start going around the outside of Nut Martinson already then. Who's going to be leading as we head into turn 1? And it looks like Nut Martinson's trying to come back on the outside, but it's Josh Wood that goes on the offensive. The WSR moves up into 1st place. That's Gareth Lennon getting a very aggressive start, trying to take 2nd away from Haskins, the Englishman, and the Northern Irishman side by side already, but nothing doing. And he'll have to fight the Norwegian of Nut Martinson, known as Fizzy. Can Fizzy hold it around the outside? No, because Christopher Pettersson's on his inside. Could Christopher Pettersson send this now for 3rd place on the grid? What a start from the TBD boy. Up from 3 places already, trying for a 4th. Zach, we are into the curly middle sector. You can see it's Callum Spencer going around the outside of Colin McAllister. What a crazy start to this race. What a great start for some of the guys in the midfield.
And especially a great start for Joshua Wood as he overtakes Damien Haskins for the lead. And I can tell you one thing, Haskins was not expecting that, but this is what happens when your first season, though, Toby. You don't expect a lot of good stuff. You got to work your way and earn the respect. And let me tell you, he had a lot of drivers behind him with so much experience, especially with Nut Martinson. And then you got Joshua Wood in the mix, who makes the move into the first corner here. So he's going to have a lot of respect to earn out of these guys, but I think it's not going to take him long if he keep up the pace that he had in qualifying. As go through the field here, Kevin Jacobs looks like he's going to make a move on Joshua Wood's teammate Zack Swader as we go in on the big straight into the hairpin left. See if Swader can defend. He's got the outside, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything, because here comes Kevin Jacobs down on the inside. Kevin Jacobs, known for his open wheel experience, Toby. Have to watch through him for the rest of the season.
And Damien Haskins has retaken the lead of this Grand Prix on the start of lap number 2. And meanwhile, Christopher Pettersson is going to get the move done for 3rd place over Gareth Lennon momentarily. And Nut Martinson's going to try compound that issue by going around the outside and taking 4th away. No, he's forced to the outside line, and he'll have to deal with what he is dished out. And as we head around for another lap, the crazy stuff just starting to begin. And we can see this is Callum Spencer's teammate Jonathan Carrero going side by side with our reigning champion Burn. Burn trying to go all the way around the outside of Jonathan Carrero. That will be bold if he can pull it off. Carrero has the inside line. Can Burn hold it around the outside? Looks like he just might be able to. Burn holds it around the outside up into P14, and that puts Carrero under a bit of pressure from the EQU car behind.
And let me tell you one thing, Jonathan Carrero has a lot of ground to make up after struggling first season of being with a team of WSR as his first season. And then with the driver switch between Wood and Carrero, has struggled because he kind of let down the team last season. As we talked about, we thought he was going to be gone and losing his seat throughout after last season, but it looks like they still have faith in him. But he's got a lot to make up for that. Let's go through the field once again here. Juan Navarro coming under pressure from Zack Swader, who reportedly could be future teammates. Toby, as rumor has it that EQ will be folding after this season, so who knows what's going to happen with Chester Jackson and Juan Navarro. As we can see, he's defending. He's going to make a move on Kevin Jacobs there, Toby. So that should be a good sign, as Kevin Jacobs is going to go through another position, lost to Zack Swader, and it looks like Gareth Lennon behind them. So a lot of craziness going on right here for Kevin Jacobs. It looks like he's about to be surrounded by cars as we're about to be going into the DRS. DRS should be activated on this lap, though.
Yep, looking like this will be the first lap of DRS. Evan Imre getting involved, trying to sneak one past Zack Swader. Has the inside line. Zack Swader doesn't get a great exit, and now the Force Fizzy is going to capitalize on that. Look at this train. We've got a 5-car battle going on for 8th place here, and this is going to get messy really quick. Look at that free abreast in the background. Is that Callum Spencer making free abreast? Of course it is. Going up the inside, potentially Colin McAllister. No, Colin closes the door on him. Nowhere to go with that particular move. He has Ross McFarlane. Ross McFarlane up 8 positions, by the way. Great start from the Scotsman. We said he needed something today. Really pulled it out the bag. And ART battling with that Knoll sandwich in the background. Meanwhile, Gareth Lennon and Christopher Pettersson going at it toe-to-toe. Really close. 2.5 tenths separate the Swede and the Northern Irishman in the final sector. And of course, like you say, it'll be the first lap of DRS. So Gareth Lennon is in a prime position to take that podium away back from the TBD car. But he's got to watch out because he has got Nut Martinson behind, who's also going to get DRS. So if there's any battling, any unnecessary choke points, then Nut Martinson, like we say, has got a perfect view of this. So there's the detection point, but they don't get DRS until the next straight. So we'll just see how effective DRS is. And, oh, wow, big slide from these guys. Like we say, it is a one-stop strategy. The guys are on the ultra softs at the moment. DRS is open for Lennon in front. You can see him pulling alongside Christopher Pettersson now, and he's just going to breeze past in 8th gear. It's 200 miles an hour down the inside. Job's a good one.
And see you later, Senna. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if those of you that are not with DRS, the car has to be 1 second within the car ahead of them in order to get DRS here. And so that meant that, of course, Gareth Lennon had the prime opportunities. We take a look at Jonathan Carrero trying to make a move right there. That looked like Charles McBee going right, blown away. And it looks like Charles McBee lost another position. I can't tell who that's behind that passed him again there. And as they're going 3 abreast, and I think it's just Charles McBee looked like he had a little bit of front wing damage. I thought the way it looked showed, so it might have been just the way the camera showed, but I don't think he's got damage. But big train of cars through here that caused by Jonathan Carrero overtaking. So a bit of chaotic in the mid to rear end of the field there, Toby. So craziness, like everyone lucky to get out of the way of there.
Crazy stuff going on. Meanwhile, Christopher Pettersson has lost out somewhere. Ooh, big slide from Nut Martinson over the curb there, who's taken 4th place away from the Swede. And now the Swede coming under a bit of pressure from Juan Navarro behind. So Chris really starting to struggle on these tyres now. Now, of course, these guys all are have different ways, different methods of managing their tyres. And it could just be a case that Christopher's conserving. It's a bit early to say. With 4 laps in, of course, these guys will likely make a pit stop we believe it's going to be the soft compound tyres at some point this weekend. So these guys will be looking for the prime opportunity to go for that. Meanwhile, Chris has DRS, Nut doesn't, so he'll be able to claw a little bit of time back on the Norwegian. But in terms of this Scandinavian battle, how far can Chris come back from there? Doesn't think about it. That would have been a silly lunge. Holds back for now. But meanwhile, speaking of lunges, Zack Swader going back up the inside of Evan Imre, retaking 8th place away from the Scot. And the little Brit battle going on there. Meanwhile, Josh Martin, then down in 18th, has a bad start, has made up a position on Chester Jackson. And the ARTs and Valerio Campagnari bringing up the rear of the grid. Here are some replays of that start, Zach.
So we'll take a look right now. Joshua Wood on board with him. He's going to get the slipstream going off the start. He gets a pretty decent start here. And let's watch this lunge going into turn number 1. He just comes in. Yeah, just catches Damien Haskins off napping, and that's the experience that Wood has over Haskins. If you were Damien Haskins, you would have tried to defend as much as you could of that inside. He just left the door wide open, and we take a look now back on board with Damien Haskins right here. This is where he retakes the lead. Just gets I don't know what happened. Joshua Wood must have missed a gear or just bogged down or something. Like I got a very slow exit coming out of that corner, Toby, and that's what allowed Damien Haskins to retake the lead.
a simple retaking of the lead much. Oh, wow, that was close between Evan Imre and Zack Swader. Those two really going at it. Very close indeed. Evan was very close, playing dare there with his front wing. Almost lost it. But Damien Haskins, since taking the lead, has pulled about a 3-second gap away from Josh Wood at the moment. So we saw he had the pace in qualifying. So far, he looks pretty good in the race as well, as these guys continue to go around our wonderful Malaysian Grand Prix circuit. And we'll just wait for the time to refresh. There you can see it's about 2 seconds now, about 2.5 seconds in Damien Haskins' favour for the lead of the race. So those guys definitely going to get involved. And it looks like Gareth Lennon's starting to catch Wood a little bit in the timing as well. So we'll have to keep our eye out on that point. But at the moment, this is going to be the next slipstream trade. Battle of red, orange, and yellow going on there. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, Josh Wood makes a very late decision to come into the pits then. Here's our first pit stop, Zach. Lap 5 out of 20. And if he wants to go 15 laps, he's going to have to put some pretty strong tyres on.
And especially after he came into the pits, like you said, he was late on deciding if he wanted to bend. Then if you noticed, Toby got a little bit on the grass right there and almost lost it going into the pits. So it's going to be a very slow pit stop for Joshua Wood. And I think that might cost him very considerable track positions. Evan Imre retakes the position through Zack Swader, so that puts him back up to 4th, and Zach's now coming under pressure from the Scotsman of Colin McAllister. So very interesting to see what these guys can do under strategy here. And, you know, now with pit stops really being a thing for the AIC now, and especially with some tracks having DRS, it's going to spice up a lot of racing now. So we get to see a lot of different strategies and a lot more different setups as we have over the past few seasons. So, but the tires here, Toby, are going to be astronomically really worn out because of the way the track temperature is and this air. We're in Malaysia, and it's known, it's well known for its rain, but it's just as known for its very, very hot temperatures here, Toby.
Yeah, definitely a very much a case of being such a tropical country that the reason we get such crazy rainstorms here is because of how hot it gets. So you can just see these guys are on yellow compound soft tires. So these are a whole 2 compounds harder than the ultra soft tires. So you'll get an idea of the pace difference on that. But of course, they wear at a lot slower rate. But I still think 15 laps is a long way to go. So I think those guys are going to be making some tyre management kind of stops towards the end of the Grand Prix. And those guys are really going to have to take care of those tyres. So this is Gareth Lennon then. Josh Wood pitted before Gareth Lennon. Now, it'll be interesting to see if Gareth Lennon overcuts Wood or vice versa. That could be detrimental in the battle for 2nd place, because those were the guys that were going at it. So there goes the pit stop. Gareth Lennon and Force Fizzy cars are released. Where is Wood? Oh, there is Wood just getting by an NORL car coming into the pits. So where is Gareth Lennon? Here's Gareth Lennon coming up to the pit lane now. Let's go at the limiter. And away Gareth Lennon, the Northern Irishman, goes into turn 1. Where is Wood? I can't quite see him. There's Wood just behind. So an overcut for Lennon, as it looks like Wood got caught behind an NORL car on his outlet.
Indeed, that looked like Evan Imre right there. So a lot of position changes coming in as we finally run through the field right now. Let's see, about 3 seconds, about 3 or so seconds, I believe Damien Haskins has on Evan Imre, and Damien Haskins has pit, Toby, so remind that. So who knows how long he's going to try to remain on those tires. He's seeing everyone behind him is pitting, but he has such a huge demanding lead over Josh Wood, so he could probably have a little bit more of a comfortable pit stop window than the rest of these guys has. We're taking a look now at Nut Martinson, our Season 1 champion here, well known for his F1 racing. You know, of course, Apex Online Racing is known and started out on the Formula 1 games, and so this is something that Nut Martinson is going to be skilled for. As we take a look at Danny Diaz is going to be under pressure from Gareth Lennon here, so Gareth is going to take all the track position that he had. Remember, most of these guys in front of him has not pitted, and now we take a look at Damien Haskins. He finally comes into the pits now, so have to see where he comes out as far as a gap to everyone else, and Evan Imre stops as well. So if everything plays out, no, Toby, Damien Haskins should be okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's going all Damien's way at the moment. There goes Danny Diaz into the pits as well, which releases Gareth Lennon into a bit of free air and gives him some DRS to boot as well, because he was behind when it came to the detection point. So Gareth Lennon's up into 2nd place then, and Wood is down to 3rd, but he's coming quickly under pressure from the Norwegian of Martinson in the background, so he's got to be careful not to lose out on that podium. It would be, if I'm correct, WSR's best opportunity for a podium, because Zack Swader is down in 8th at the moment. So it's all on Wood's shoulders for that podium. It's been a while since we've seen Josh Wood on the podium, so it'd be nice to see if we could get one today, riding on board with Navarro for the first time this season. Can he do anything about Zack Swader in front of him? He's going to pull to the inside, but no, doesn't think about it. Thought about it, but couldn't get the move done. Didn't think he was going to be able to go down the inside. Stays behind the WSR for now and follows him through a long, twisty section. And a pain that will be with the turbulence coming off in front. We see Ross McFarlane as well as up 9 positions now, up in P11, scrapping away for the points. He's been a big gainer in the pit stop phase as McFarlane. Looks like he pitted pretty early, and he's now right on the brim of points behind his fellow compatriot. So good stuff from V-Racer on the pit strategy. We said they need something a bit better than what they have been doing to get some points here today. Looks like Ross is doing them a solid, and we'll try to get the brand new team its second points of the season. They managed to get that 1 point in Adelaide, but they'll be looking to see if they can get anything else as we rode on board with the front wing there of Navarro as he comes on the back of Zack Swader, who will have DRS at this time the next straight. Will he be able to do it, Zach?
I think he might be able to. He's really close right here. And in fact, he might actually try to do it a little bit early right there. He's trying to look into the hairpin there, but nothing doing. So we took a look at Nut Martinson going right past Wood. Thank you very much. But Wood tries to come back, but just not enough speed and exit. So Nut Martinson will take third and puts him up into the podium position. So big loss right there for Wood. He's going to have to do a little bit of work to get that back. So once again through the fields right now, Colin McAllister. Yes, I believe that Juan Navarro did make the move on Zack Swader, so that will put Zack under pressure from Colin McAllister as I kind of checked up just a little bit there. I think Zack got a bit of a slow exit coming out of through the right-hander there. And Colin McAllister, Iron Brew has actually had a pretty good start to the season so far in a pretty decent qualifying effort, Toby. So it's nice to see the Iron Brew boys back where they belong as Douglas Anderson tried to make a move right there. Not going to do and try to do for Craig Evans. So have to see exactly what Iron Brew can do because they've had a pretty slow couple seasons, Toby, and it's nice to see them back where they belong.
Yeah, we haven't seen Iron Brew really fighting for podiums, really. They fought for a few in Season 2. They had a pretty good Season 3 as well, but in terms of fighting for wins, we haven't really seen this from them since like Season 1, so this is the best start to the season they've ever had, and they'll want to see that they could carry that momentum on throughout the season. And getting 9th place away from Zack Swader, I'm sure, would be a good start that they would take. So they will be pushing with all their might. They got a car up in second as well, so it's been a very good Malaysian Grand Prix for the Iron Brew team so far, showing that they've got the pace. Now, McAllister will have DRS. Does Swader have DRS on the car in front? No, he doesn't. So this is looking like a very potentially good move for McAllister. Look at that, just pulls to the outside. And look at the overspeed. He's got 206 miles an hour as he brakes for turn 1. Good overspeed gives him that. And Ross McFarlane's going to try a bit of cheeky devil that he is and try to sneak one away from Swader as well. But no, he's forced out onto the dirty line, which allows Carrera to go side by side. But Carrera's got to go all the way around the outside, and Ross is a far too experienced racer to let that happen. Is Carrera going to send it up the inside regardless? So yes, he is. Side by side, can Ross hold it on the outside? No, he loses 11th to Carrera. So Ross, in trying to be opportunistic, finds someone being even more opportunistic in Carrera.
Yeah, short-term game, long-term loss right there for McFarlane. Tried to make a cheeky move on Swader, but that forced him onto the dirty line. He almost had it done, but just couldn't get the acceleration he needed. And then just out of nowhere, Carrero just comes in and just swoops in. And like you said, Carrero, not well known for his open wheel, just like Ross McFarlane is as far as like racing experience. But, I don't think McFarlane expected Carrero to come like that out of nowhere. So finally going back once again through the field, Christopher Pedersen right here. With his move with TBD, we thought that, we knew we were going to be expecting some big things. And so far, not making, just a little bit small mistakes like that as we see these tires are just not handling probably like they should. A lot of grip to be lost out there. But, Christopher Pedersen, after the big move to TBD, shows that he's ready for the big challenge and to step up because he is teamed up with, of course, our last season champion, Toby Burn here. And so now that he's up into the top 5, should be a really good outing. And Toby, he's struggled a lot. He struggled a lot in qualifying, so a bit of a mixed weekend for TBD. So we take a look now. Colin Spencer making the move on his teammate, but I believe Carrero going to make that move right back. I don't know if the team are going to be happy with that one. These two have battled that out once before, and Spen was not really agreeing with a lot of stuff here. But I don't know if they've done the Red Bull tactic and just let all the drivers fight it out here. But I think Spencer should be okay. So a bit of some clinching going on in the pit box here for the for the JSR folks. So that was just a bit close for comfort between the two teammates there.
It was very close, but Callum Spencer got the move done. He's up into P12, so those guys seem to know what they're doing, luckily. Could have been a lot worse. We've seen teammates do battle a lot of times here in Malaysia, so very interesting to see that trend continue. Just keeping an eye on the gap from Lennon to Haskins. It seems like Haskins, it's a little bit nip and tuck, but it looks like Haskins is starting to pull away, so could we be on for another fairy? I don't want to commentators curse it, but we could be on for another fairy tale result for the second week in a row. What a crazy outing that would be. Damien Haskins in his, just to clarify how monumental this has been so far. This is Damien Haskins' second ever outing in the AIC. By the way, Douglas Anderson side by side with James Underhill trying to make the move going into the final corner. This is quite the scrap we've got going on here for the latter positions. All of this is for pretty much the last scraps of the grid, so crazy to see how hard people are fighting for such a low place. Josh Wood is has lost the position, has he, to Christopher Pettersson? I think those two have switched around. They'll be eager to try get that position back from Pettersson, but Pettersson has made the move and thus far up into P4. But just going back to talking about the stuff that we've seen so far, we have seen some crazy stuff going on in the grid. Kevin Jacobs is up to P6 as well. He's had a very good start from qualifying, but Haskins, this, like we were saying, is his second ever AIC Grand Prix, and he's leading the race after getting pole. This could be really good for Damien Haskins' future in the series.
Yes, and this season is looking, knock on wood, it's looking like the 2012 season here. So if this takes place, we'll have two different winners in two different races. So very interesting start to the season. We've seen a lot of people that we haven't really seen before, such as Kevin Jacobs last time out at Adelaide getting the win. And now we're looking at Damien Haskins getting the win here if everything keeps going his way here, as we're on board with Kevin Jacobs, speak of the devil. Think he's just outside, well, he's inside of DRS here, just not by much, about half a second, but he really gains a lot right here. He's going to try to get the move done on Joshua Wood, and there's another car up ahead of him. Of course, that's Christopher Pettersson. So Wood will have the DRS on Pettersson, and I believe Kevin Jacobs will have the DRS on Wood. There goes Wood side by side with Pettersson, gets the job done. Now here comes Kevin Jacobs, and smartly decides to stay in line with these two. That would have been caused a lot of chaos if Jacobs tried to make the move right there on Pettersson and Wood, but job done by Wood, getting the position back from Pettersson here, as Kevin's just going to sit back and just let these two fight it out like the smart person that he is. He's not a race winner for anything here, but Pettersson comes out of nowhere and overtakes Wood going into the right-hander, and just gets on the grass just a little bit, forces everyone out wide right there, and that's going to allow Evan Inray to take a shot right there as Joshua Wood loses another position right there to Kevin Jacobs. So the big chaos going on right here, as we got a 4-car scrap just for this one little spot right here. So this is going to be very interesting to see how these guys play it off, as Evan Inray has got a very good view of these three guys, of all the fighting that's going on right now.
Crazy battle going on. Look at that, out of nowhere. Colin McAllister, where did he come from? He's come from absolutely nowhere. Evan Imre says, no, thank you. No. Not taking that position away from me. Gonna have to work harder from that. Look at this train forming. What an awesome race this has been so far. And all of that, look at that. It was just a case of Wood trying to go around the outside of Pettersson. Pettersson making a mistake. And bloody hell, where did that come from? Evan Imre has just sent it up the final corner. No one's ever made a move there. What a move from Evan Imre. And now Colin McAllister's going to try and compound the misery for Wood as well. But his teammates there to try play a little bit of defense by attacking the Iron Brew in front. Now 2 more cars are closing in the background to close in on this train. It's lap 13. And all of these guys are still in the same camera shot. Is Pettersson far enough away to prevent the DRS from Jacobs? Don't think he is. Here comes Jacobs up into P4. What a result this could be for his championship in 4th place at the moment. Meanwhile, the 2 WSRs getting involved. Who's going to be the macho man of that team? Callum Spencer's going to get opportunistic. And is he going to get both? He's got an amazing run, but he's going to go all the way around the outside of Wood. If he wants to get both WSRs here, he can switch to the inside now. That's exactly what he's going to do. Evan Imre has gone down in Christopher Pettersson's inside. There's an EQU of Juan Navarro that's gone from absolutely nowhere and joined the battle. Doesn't make the move stick, but look at this train, Zach. Look at the battles it's creating.
That was at least 5th and up to like a P11, P12 within the single shot as we went down the front straightaway. A lot of cars just fighting, and it reminds me, as we take a look, Colin McAllister there, making the move on Christopher Pedersen and out the outside, but Pedersen's going to try to fight back as we go into the double right-hander. As we take a look at how on board with the two drivers right here, Pedersen is going to stay with the position so far, but then Zack Swader comes out of nowhere and is trying to bring his teammate, but just nothing doing as McAllister shut the door on Wood right there. And so just more, position jockeying just in that one single shot as Evan Imre is going to try to get slipstream right here on right there down the inside. Job done right there. So that's 4th place for him. Now, let me tell you one thing, we have to catch our breath after that little scrap right there, and it's still not done yet, as most of these guys are going to have DRS. So Ader's going to have DRS on his teammate, but I believe Wood has DRS open as well. And don't come together, boys. That's certainly not what you want to do. You've had a pretty decent start to the season so far. Then Swader overtakes his teammate, very well done into the first corner, and that's going to allow Juan Navarro as he tries to force Wood up outside, and that's going to allow Carrero to force Juan Navarro outside. That just seems to be the big thing. As soon as the one makes a move right there, the other guy has to slip out wide because there's not a lot of room because these guys are just not giving, an inch. They're just so close together. So we take a look nose to tail, and then they're even banging tires and fender arches and all that. So just crazy stuff going on right now as we take a look right now. Danny Diaz makes the move on Chester Jackson right there.
2 former teammates making a move, not Martinson, by the way. Look at the gap he's closed down on Gareth Lennon. While we've all been distracted with that fight, Fizzy's been putting in the laps and has caught the Northern Irishman. But meanwhile, this is still going on. Christopher Pedersen has lost a position to Callum Spencer, but holds it back on the inside. Will that allow the WSR Swader to get involved? Christopher Pedersen really acting like an iron wall of defence here, not letting anyone by without a stellar fight. And here goes the battle for third. DRS now, but Nut Martinson's going to bring him in the fight for second. Could the Fizzy car overtake the Iron Brew car? We'll have to wait and see, because Callum Spencer's going after Christopher Pedersen. This is for P7 if he goes up the inside, which I think he's very much going to do. And we can see the WSR in the background. If anything goes wrong, he will be able to take all the glory. It just looks like Christopher's really struggling now on these tyres, really starting to lose positions. Hand over fist. DRS open for Swader, but it's open for Pedersen as well. Will he be able to defend for it? Swader looking to the inside. Can he go down the inside and take that away? Yes, he can. Demotes Pedersen to 9th, who gets caught out on the outside. Meanwhile, this is still going on. The other TBD car battling with V-Racer boys ahead in this little train that's formed. Another crazy train forming in there, and Chester Jackson has fell that down to last as Nut Martinson continues his assault on Gareth Lennon.
And I tell you one thing, Toby, Christopher Pedersen is not the only person that's lost a lot of ground. Joshua Wood went from potentially onto a podium down to 10th, so very good, not good second stint for him after that pit stop. I believe, after he made that little bit of a mistake coming into the pits, it just put him into all this chaos, and that just forced him down into 10th as he lost so many positions, one to his teammate, and then others. Just not a very good outing right there on those tires. I believe, I don't think the car is set up right for the second stint on the new tires, and so they were looking for more pace right there. Teammates coming together. That's Douglas Anderson and Danny Diaz right there. I think Dougie kind of went onto the grass just a little bit, and that kind of forced Danny to check up just a little bit, and I believe they collided just a little bit. Hopefully there's not enough damage on the front end of Danny Diaz's car as Nut Martinson slowly reeling in Gareth Lennon here to try to take second spot. Nut Martinson, after the last couple seasons, Toby, it is nice to see Nut finally back up into the podium spot, because he has, ever since we left the season 1 where he won the championship in the DTMs and then the GP2 cars, it's been such a struggle as Christopher Pedersen looking to regain all that lost ground that we just talked about. Same with Wood if he can get into the slipstream, though. But Nut Martinson finally back where he belongs, and still carnage going on. That's Valerian Campagnari. Mr. Where did he come from? Once again, makes the move right there. It's Chester Jackson trying to get a move on as well here, but nothing doing. It's a very slow exit coming out of that corner, but hopefully everything will kind of slow down, which everything is. That way these guys can breathe and make it to the end, boys. We're so close to the end here. But Evan Imre here, take a look at this right there. The Fizzy guys, 3rd and 4th, Toby. So very good outing for these guys.
Really good outing for Force Fizzy, yeah. Looking like that car really suits Malaysia. Josh Martin has gained all of his positions back, and we saw he'd gone down a couple of positions. He's trying to go around the outside, and that's pretty tough to do that. But not really doing it. Is he going to be able to go around the outside in the final sector, looking for a way past Underhill? There's just not one presenting itself. He's just got to kind of accept that he has to stay behind for now, as his teammate of Ross McFarlane behind. So Martin had a pretty bad start, dropped a lot of positions, but he's gained back to where he was. Burn has gained 2 positions. He's on the back of his train as well. I'm sure he will get involved with the V-Racer boys shortly. Going down towards the final corner then. Who's it going to be? On the inside, is Burn going to be able to send it? It looks like Martin's been able to send it on Underhill. Got the position done. That was a little bit rough and tumble, and that's going to allow Ross McFarlane to have a run. But Burn's there as well. All of these guys have got DRS going through into the next section. DRS wide open for multiple cars going into turn 1 once again, and it looks like Underhill goes back down the inside of Martin after Martin made the move, and now Ross McFarlane is going to be on the outside. Is he going to get forced onto the dirty line by his teammate? Yes, he is. That's going to allow Burn to go side by side, and they're going to have to try hold it around the outside of McFarlane. We saw McFarlane was able to hold off Carrera, but Carrera managed to switch back and go down the inside anyway, and it looks like that's a similar story for Burn, done the exact same for P15, takes that away from the V-Racer boy, who is now under pressure from the VRC. So the 2 new teams doing battle through this middle sector. I'm sure they'll be enjoying themselves, as we can see Zach Martinson surely close enough this time.
He's just about a half a second on Gareth Lennon right now as we just hit the DRS detection zone. Can he get the move done just a bit early coming into the hairpin? No, he will not. So we will have to rely just on the DRS here. Let's get a good exit right going onto the front straightaway here. DRS open now. See all that slipstream, all the DRS working for him. See if he can make the move job done. He slips down into the inside. He's going to make the move on Gareth Lennon for second right there. And Gareth Lennon tries to fight back just a little bit, trying to get that acceleration, but nothing doing. Can he dive back down to the inside? No. Nut Martinson, second place locked, as he got a great exit coming out of that final quarter. Great stuff from the Season 1 champion of Nut Martinson. Welcome back to the front of the racing right here. Such a fantastic job right now for Martinson, and I bet you if he was close enough, Evan Inray would try to give the Fizzy boys a podium punch, but just way too far back, unfortunately, for Evan Inray. But still a good strong race for him right now. So take a look now, still fighting out in the back here. Juan Navarro comes under pressure from Joshua Wood, and just going through once again Toby Burn in between of a Charles McBee sandwich right there, as he can just a little bit close right there to some contact, but spread out just a little bit now, as Valerio Campagnari is going to try to get some work done right here to try to figure this this season out right now. Valerio Campagnari, his return so far, Toby, hasn't been very, very thrilling so far.
No, yeah, he made 2 pit stops in Adelaide, which we're not sure why. My guess would be damage, but he had a poor result in Adelaide, dead last as a result. And he's struggled this race as well, hasn't he? Really struggling to get to grips with these cars after having a season out. Looks like the season out may have hurt his early pace to get back on. We'll go to China next time out. We'll see if the Italian is able to bring anything to the Chinese country and the Chinese track of Shanghai. And hopefully it'll be something a bit more familiar to him. But you'd like to think Malaysia would be pretty familiar. Nothing doing. Both of those guys just had a synchronized drift coming out the final corner, by the way, and Callum Spencer's able to get the DRS open anyway. Looks like he's going to take P6 away from Kevin Jacobs down the inside of the championship leader into turn 1. Gets the move done, and Kevin Jacobs still up 5 positions, so he won't be too upset. Zack Swader has got back past Christopher Pettersson on the start of this final lap, and looks like he's going to be able to continue as he means to go on. For Zack Swader, is Christopher Pettersson going to be able to stick with him and come back at him in any point in this lap? I'm not sure. Toby Burn looks like he's still battling away with Charles McBee in the background. Charles McBee has lost 8 positions this race. He's been another person who's struggled, and it looks like it could just be a case of tyre management at this circuit. Like we mentioned, 15 laps was a long way to go on these tyres, and you can see who's excelled in the tyre management, like Nut Martinson, and who's really struggled, like we say, with Josh Wood, Christoph Pettersson, and Charles McBee. You can see who struggled, but this man, definitely no struggle in here today. He had a bad start, but he came back from it. He bounced back on the very second lap. Damien Haskins, it's a fairy tale for the second week running, takes the win in Malaysia. His second ever race in the AIC, and his first ever win gives him a 50% win ratio of all events entered. Great stuff from Damien Haskins. We've still got some battles going on around this circuit, but crazy stuff from Damien Haskins, well deserved.
Well deserved, as all these fighting is still a couple of corners left to go for these guys right here. Josh Martin, can he try to make the one last move on the WSR car? He gets the job done, and he's going to hold on right here. So very good last-minute move from Josh Martin on the WSR cars. His teammate tries to take a little lunge at him, but I believe he's just going to run out of time up to the line right there. So last-ditch effort for Josh Martin, gets the job done. So he'll be happy like that. And for some reason, Douglas Anderson has no front wing for some reason, Toby. I don't know if we'll have a replay of that, which we should do. Curious to see how we lost that, but that's not a way you want to finish your race on the last lap, Toby, is without a front wing. But fantastic job from Damien Haskins.
Damien Haskins takes his first ever win in the ISR AIC, gives Virtual Racers Club their first ever win. And what's a base GTFG built for these guys to take over? They've really done them proud. Nut Martinson gets a very good podium from Force Fizzy today. Gareth Lennon rounds off the podium. Great result from Force Fizzy all round today with that 4th place from Evan Imre. Colin McAllister will bring home a 5th place for Iron Brew. Count Spencer P6. Jacobs P7, Zack Swader P8, Christoph Pettersson holds on for a point, Jonathan Carrera in P10, but the man who took the lead of the race into turn 1, Zach, in the form of Josh Wood, falls outside of the points, and that just shows you what happens in a race like this, where it's not just speed that counts, it's tyre management too.
Yeah, and definitely him and Christopher Pettersson both struggle. As Pettersson does hang on into the points for 9th, but Wood, like you said, falls out of the points here. But take a look at this right here. Forrest Vizzy and Iron Brew, they had a fantastic week, and those two teams could be the result of what's already storming up to be a very good team championship, Toby. Can't wait to see how these guys do. So take a look now. Joshua Wood actually loses positions to both Juan Navarro and, of course, losing out to Josh Martin on the final corner of the race. That's not how exactly you want to lose out more positions here, but a very struggle race right here for Woods. Starts out 3rd and ends up losing 10 positions in total here. Ross McFarlane and Toby Burn 14th and 15th, and James Underhill in 16th. And Douglas Anderson outside finishes last. Still want to know how he lost his front wing, because he's pretty much out of the top 20 here. Charles B finishes 18th, Craig Evans in 19th, and Danny Diaz for ART 20th. So very interesting stuff here at the end, as we saw, like we said, Josh Martin make that final move, and somehow Douglas Anderson loses his front wing. So very chaotic right there. Very chaotic race all around, Toby. It was very, very fun to watch you through the middle part of the race. Between 5th and I believe 12th position was in that one shot. That was very interesting, but very well done all around by these boys.
Yeah, it was a very crazy race, and it's the first time we've seen these boys really be put through their paces in terms of tyre management. We saw a little bit in Adelaide, but it's not really a circuit you need to worry about your tyres too much. I think most of them just went for the one stop just so they could continue going flat out. This race saw a lot of tyre management, and we saw who struggled and who needs to invest more time into that. Kevin Jacobs maintains then his championship lead then with 31 points, but Damien Haskins with those 25 points jumps up into 2nd place, and he'll be looking to take the championship fight to Kevin Jacobs. Gareth Lennon moves up into P3 into the standings. Zack Swader drops a couple of positions. The only man who's not moved anywhere is Colin McAllister, who gets his 2nd, 5th place finish in a row, and good stuff from Nut Martinson moving up as well as Evan Imre. Big losers mainly include Craig, Toby and Zach in the top 10 at least, but yeah, crazy stuff. But I'm a little surprised that Kevin's maintained his championship lead. Did a little bit of damage limitation today, wasn't the best of races, but he still gained 5 positions.
Yeah, very good indeed right here. But as we talked about right here, like we said, Iron Brew Racing and NRL with Forrest Vizzy right there. Iron Brew Racing with their positions made up, and of course Forrest Vizzy with their 2nd and 4th respectively. They gain about a good chunk of right there. There's only 13 points out behind of Iron Brew Racing, but 1 point behind NRL. So, if NRL can just get all their stuff going right here with, even with Kevin Jacobs' win, Valerio Campagnari's got to, dig deep and try to get his, mind game. Like we said, that one season off might have hurt him, Toby. So we'll have to see if he can recover from that, because if he can, that's going to help NRL in a big way. But if not, it's going to be another one of those Mevius interesting things to see, whether one driver can do all the work and then the other just hold back.
So next time out is China. Who will come out on them? Will we have another fairy tale story? Are we going to have something crazy like potentially Juan Navarro, Poland the win? Anybody? Bets as you take them. What a crazy start to this season it's been. We'll see you next time for round number 3 in China. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.